Do you push the boulder all the way up the hill all day long and wake up tomorrow morning and it's at the bottom of the hill? You know your why, you got to learn your what. So I went ahead and I changed around my priorities and I made my health my first priority.
Need motivation?
Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 to 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 to 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, David Meltzer, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Have a routine.
My tomorrow starts today. I think the key to waking up at 4 o'clock that most people don't realize is that I have an unwind routine that starts at 9 p.m. So I'm very disciplined and regimented about winding down. If you coming from an athletic background, nobody ever would play a game without warming up. It's amazing that you think you go to sleep without warming down. Right? If we want to maximize the opportunity to connect to the greatest source of light, love, and lessons with no ego involved, no adrenaline, chemicals, negative thoughts, if we want to purely receive all night long, to purely allow the continuum from our unconscious to our subconscious to our conscious mind to wake up tomorrow at our highest frequency, to plateau and grow. If you're living your life the whole day knowing that you have a routine tomorrow, you have to live a certain way. It's almost like an accountability partner for you. When I know I have to wake up at 4, I'm behaving in a certain way all day long. The biggest shift for me was I used to tell people, I go to bed at 11. Now I tell people I try to stay up till 11. Most people's problem that don't have an unwinding routine to start is that they live the myth of Sisyphus. They spend the whole day, if you're out there and this resonates with you, listen, do you push the boulder all the way up the hill all day long and wake up tomorrow morning and it's at the bottom of the hill just to push the same boulder to the same? Then you're not doing things right. So start your regimen the night before. Your tomorrow starts today by an unwinding routine with no negative energy, no caffeine, alcohol, drugs, things that are gonna get and interfere with you and the greatest source of light, lessons and love that allow you to plateau and grow every morning.
Rule number 2, know your values.
You know your why, you got to learn your what. Most people ask them, what do you want to do? What's gonna be their answer? I don't know. What do you want to eat? I don't know. You got to know your what. In order to know your what, you got to take inventory of your values. Personal, experiential, giving, and receiving values. You need to also not be afraid of being a hypocrite. I'm the king of telling people I was a hypocrite. I'm the king of telling you I was a dummy. But I'm bragging. I'm bragging by telling you how stupid I was, how much I didn't know. Why? Because I've learned a lesson. And I'm telling you, hey, don't make the same mistakes as me. And I know my values today, and they're completely different than when I was 18 years old. So take inventory of your values.
Rule number 3, don't be afraid to ask.
We're going to talk about asking and attracting, a great blend of 2 different variables that make us successful, passionate, purposeful, and profitable at what we do. You need to ask for what you want. One of my favorite NFL players of all time, Bensie Glenn, who worked for me on several occasions, said, Dave, you ain't going to get unless you ask. You can't ask big enough. You can't ask often enough. You can not ask enough people. So it all stems for me in an ancient Chinese proverb. It says, he who asks question only remains a fool for 5 minutes. He who does not ask remains a fool forever. And so we need to be more interested than interesting. One of the biggest ways people are handicapping themselves today is by being too afraid to ask questions. They don't feel worthy of it, or they're worried to be separate, inferior, or superior by asking questions. While there's plenty of knowledge all around us, more than ever before, to be gained, it would be foolish to think that we can simply gain everything we need to know from firsthand experience. Mathematically, that's an incredible presumption to make. Multi-billions of variables, and you're going to presume that the best way to learn is to do it all yourself, firsthand experience. It's foolish, especially today, how connected we are. You know, when I was young, most people had a connectivity of about 4 to 5 people. They had a golf game, a card game, a church group. Today, even my 10-year-old has 1,000 followers. We are all connected. We are all sponsors and power sponsors here to help each other, not gatekeepers trying to stop each other. We need to rely on the knowledge of others around us in order to pass that information along through us to assist in broadening our horizons from our ignorance to expand, to grow, and accelerate what we're trying to do.
Rule number 4, give back.
I said, why do you require every one of our athletes to have a foundation? He said, for 2 reasons. One, I know it's right. And the truth vibrates the fastest. Didn't put it in those words, but that's what he was saying. And then he said, but beyond that, he goes, I started learning that by giving back, I actually qualified the people I surrounded myself with. If an athlete wasn't willing to give back, I was only going to have problems later on. And so throughout my whole career, since I've been working with Lee, whether it's athletes, companies, media, or even interviews, I only do people that work with people that will give back. Every project I have has to have a charitable component or cause to it. Every single one, or we won't take it. And it just has really increased a collective belief or a vibration for our entire community, not just our business. Hey, this is Dave Meltzer, and I'm going to read my favorite paragraph of my friend Evan Carmichael's book, Built to Serve. Here's the secret. Dream big, act small. It is important to dream big. Your big dreams will motivate you. It'll inspire you to keep going when things get tough. It'll be a rallying call for your partners, suppliers, customers, and future employees. Keep a hold of your huge dream and then act small. Find the smallest possible way to get started, to take the first step, to get some momentum going. Dream big, but act small.
Rule number 5, find your inspiration.
I make sure I understand the difference between innovation and entrepreneurship. A lot of people, they're innovators. They have great ideas, right? And ideas are important because every idea that I have is a possibility. The minute I think about something as an entrepreneur, it's a possibility. But when I start dreaming about it and I become enthusiastic, inspired in theos with God or whatever you believe in, doesn't matter to me. But when you're inspired, that's when your possibility becomes a probability.
Rule number 6, study your calendar.
Be a student of your calendar. Now, I know that sounds simple, but people don't study their calendar. So the time and ego are the two things that get in your way. And it's not, when I say study the calendar, that means look at everything you do in person, on the phone, via email or social media. Well, look at that calendar. Look into deep, past what actually is happening. Because if you just look at your calendar, you'll forget 90% of it immediately, let alone the rest of the day. There's no way you know what you're doing at 12:15. But when you study your calendar and you say, who else can I help? Who else can help me? What value can I bring? But not only do I look at what I'm doing as a student in my calendar, I look through an eye of productivity and accessibility. How productive am I going to be? But also how accessible am I to others, as well as what am I going to access out of this? But more importantly, I look at the white space in my calendar, the empty part. I study it. People don't realize that's the most important part. Being productive and accessible when you don't have people, emails, text, or social media things to do. That white space is where it all happens. That's where you develop your relationships with your parents and your kids and your friends. That's where you exercise, and I started filling up my white space. This is where I'm going to call my mom for 1 minute to tell her I love and appreciate her. Change my whole relationship with my mom.
Rule number 7, do it now.
Do it now. And the magic thing about do it now is 100% of the things that you do now. That's right. This is a statistic that's actually true. 100% of the things you do now get done. And the difference between successful people, Mike, like you and I and other people, is we get stuff done. So ask yourself, can I do it now? And if you can do it, do it. If not, put it in that calendar to study tomorrow.
Rule number 8, let go of time.
Because if I knew when I was 7, I was always in a hurry, and I couldn't reconcile how could I give and enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential at an unbelievable will, unbelievable speed, but yet not care about time. Most people, when I talk sometimes, the biggest confusion they get is, do you have goals or not? I'm more concise on the attention, intention, and coincidences that I want in my life than almost anyone I know. I prioritize what I want, how I get it, but I'm not attached to it. I allow time in a sense of infinity. I know that everything will come, and it provides me more faith. And it actually, things come quicker to me now because I let go time. People, they create resistance with time. I used to be a perfect person. When I was 5 years old, I said, by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I was 5 years old. I'm gonna buy my mom a house, a car, and retire. Never work again on $1 million. That just shows how old I was. But I did. Well, what I was doing was creating resistance, because every minute, hour, day, month, or year I got closer to 30, there was more pressure on me. What if at 5 years old I had this faith that I have now, an understanding of time in that framework, and I said, I'm gonna make as much money as I can, as fast as I can. Everything's gonna come to me at the right way, at the perfect time. I'm going to enjoy, find the light in, find the love in. I'm going to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of my potential. I'm gonna live to a higher vibration, wake up in the morning and figure out where's my baseline for today, my highest vibration, my potential, my truth, and I'm gonna live to it all day long. Meaning, when my faith weakens and I create a void, a shortage, or an obstacle to what I want, when my faith weakens, my perception is off, my ego gets in my way, which is the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, angry, frustrated, anxious, fearful, which are all feelings I have every day, even today. Instead of making it worth and accelerating into the wrong trajectory and putting myself farther and farther away from that $1 million that I wanted, I now take a second and I go back to my highest frequency, which allows things to happen quicker.
Rule number 9, find the key.
A lot of people ask about being stuck. I love being stuck. Let me tell you why. If I'm in a room and the door is jammed, only one way I know it's stuck, that I'm stuck in the room. How? Anyone know? When I try to get out. The only way, right? If I'm in a room, who's to say right now we're not stuck? Right? Remember, space is infinite.
Right.
In actuality, we used to be stuck in this atmosphere, and then they figured out how to send a rocket ship out. But we were stuck. It's just a matter of space.
Right.
But you only knew we were stuck when we tried to get out. Stuck is good. Stuck is good because, right, what we're doing, we're pursuing our potential when we're stuck.
Before breakthrough.
So what we want to do, though, is we don't want to keep doing the same things. So, for example, if there's a big wall in my way and I'm trying to get around the wall, I'm stuck. I'm running this way. Oh, years and years and years, I can't get around it. Do I keep on running? Maybe. Or maybe I run this way, years and years and years and years, can't get around it. Then I start digging, I can't get under it. Then I start climbing, man. 40 years go by, 10 years this way, 10 years this way, 10. Now for me, I'm looking for the key. Right? I'm not gonna run for 10 years the same. I'm not gonna keep banging my head, trying to run through the wall. I'm not gonna keep on doing that. Right? I'm gonna use my faith. Think, say, do, believe. My unconscious competencies, but I'm gonna stay stuck until I find that key. And the easiest way to find the key is ask everybody that I know, see, do, how can I be of service, and do you know anyone that can help me get through this wall? And you say, oh man, I experienced this. This wall's made of this. I've been studying biochemistry for this long. Did you know if you take sulfuric acid and do this? And you say, oh no, man, I was by that wall and I saw there was a hole in that wall. And you say, no, you don't even need to use the hole. I saw that there's actually a place that they built a door. Just follow me over to the door. And you say, well, I'm a locksmith. Now, meanwhile, there's fools for 40 years, 10 miles this way, right? And there's another fool for 60 years who's banging his head against the wall because that's all he knows. He's stuck. We're all stuck though. The wall's still there, but yet I'm out there connected to everything and everyone, maximizing the reasons and impacts and capabilities of all of us. And pretty soon I'm gathering information, finding the key. And my locksmith over here, because you know where it is and you know the oils and whatever, and you're right, we all get together. And now all 5 of us, I'm like, hey man, boom. we're unstuck.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is take care of yourself.
I spend more on my health than people spend on a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So what sparked this intention for you to start really focusing on you?
So I started seeing myself because of all the speaking and social media and all of that. When you start looking at yourself, because our own self-opinion, age is a funny thing. You can never describe it to someone, and you always feel better than you really are. If you have a positive attitude, it can work against you. Well, I started seeing myself on stage going, man, I'm not in good shape. In my head, somehow, I thought I was that guy playing football, right? And so I started talking to people about habits, and I started becoming a hypocrite. I'm like, wait a second, I'm teaching people about habits. I'm not healthy. So my initial reaction was, I'm going to diet, right? And I started realizing, no, this is something wrong. And then I was approached by a guy from Stark, which is a full 360 type of, nutrition, stretching, AR, everything. And he said to me, look, he goes, you need to make your health a priority because I want you to be around. I want you to be around. And I'm like, wait a second, my health is my third priority. I put my family first, my work second, and my health was third. And I was losing out, both diet, exercise, stretch. I didn't even know how bad I was. And so I went ahead and I changed around my priorities, and I made my health my first priority. It was going to be my greatest expense. Because if I'm not here, nothing can come through me. And so I literally changed my life. I lost 47 pounds of fat. I've gained 11 pounds of muscle. Cardiovascularly, I am beyond flexibility, balance. Everything that I do for health is something I can do for life. And so I just simply, like I do for any habit, I set a minimum amount of time that I'm going to spend on my health. So minimum every single day, consistently, 1 hour minimum on my health. Focusing on my health. Cardio, whatever it is, I'm focused on my health. A minimum of, and whatever it costs, it comes first. I leave work. I never did this. I leave work to go work out, right? I leave work because it's more important than work. And, so many times people tell me, I heard Tony Robbins the day he was on Paul Rabel. And I love this line. He goes, if you don't have 10 minutes for something, you don't have a life.
Right.
But how many people tell me, I don't got time.
Right.
I'm telling you, if you don't have an hour for your health, you don't have a life. If you are not focused, 1/24 of your day on your being here for as long as you can and enjoying it by being healthy, you don't have a life. Just figure something else out. So you should be spending as much money as you can, as much time as you can, focus as you can on yourself so things can go through you and help more.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you just get motivated, the sign says you have a 35% chance of actually following through. That's not good enough, Believe Nation. We got to take action. But when you get motivated and then you create a specific plan of action for when and how you're going to do it, your number jumps from 35% to 91% chance of following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like posting down here in the comments below, that number jumps to 95%. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so you can follow through and I can celebrate you.
Use the system you've been given. Let me explain the system for those of you that don't know, because I keep getting clarity on it. Here's what I believe how your system works. Number one, you have a cellular memory. A cellular memory takes in the data through the 5 senses that you have. The 5 senses that you have are completely inaccurate, unreliable. They are not accurate. Then the other 50% that goes into that data is your memory. Memory, once again, completely inaccurate, not reliable, not exact. So our system starts with faulty data, right? With non-stable data. That data is inputted into our system through consistency. It goes into the neural pathways of our mind. At a minimum of 21 days can create a neural pathway determinative upon your genetics, your DNA, your quantum memory. It could take you years or even lifetimes to create a neural pathway. That's why some people can quit smoking in a day, and others it takes a lifetime or 2 or 3 to stop that addiction. Even though every day they're trying, Doesn't work that way. Plus we have the faulty data problem of the memory and the senses. What happens through consistent behavior, not only is a neural pathway formed, which creates efficiencies in a subconscious that holds one of those of 40,000 thoughts that you can access anytime, but that frequency goes to your DNA and actually can activate, there's an epigenetic layer above your DNA, and you can activate what exists already in that quantum memory that you have. So diseases or talents or skills or knowledge or desire, you can change those, addictions, personality traits, and that's what will cause you to change your thermostat. Right? I have plenty of coaching clients that have breakthroughs because I get to that activation, and others, they reset right back to, I have employees and mentorship. I see this all the time. So that continuum, what happens is, like anything else, like a golf swing, the more you practice it, the more likely you'll be accurate with your shot. So consistency not only is the catalytic event that occurs through that whole continuum to activate the DNA that you want, the quantum memory that you want, but more importantly, it's giving you an accurate depiction of data. Because the more you practice it, the more you learn the lessons, and you're like, oh, my eyes, that's not what I see. Oh, that's not what I feel. Oh, that's not what I smell. That's not what I taste. It changes through consistent behavior like anything else. So if you're gonna take a lesson into life, lower the bar so you can do it every day. And when you feel I can't do it, just lower the bar as low as it can get. And I can't tell you, my change and shift in life is first a minimum of an hour a day on my health, then a minimum of each of the people in my closest family that I spend every day, and then a minimum amount of time for the activity that I get paid for through the context of being a student in my calendar, which relies on a kaleidoscope of a lens of productivity, of how much value I can provide, a lens of accessibility, of how accessible am I to all of you, and how am I accessing what I want, and a lens of gratitude. So everything I find delight and love and enjoy. It's that simple. So utilizing that methodology, some days I wake up, could be in Vegas, and say to myself, I don't need to go to the gym. Why should I go to the gym when this bed is so comfy? And I got another 2 hours before I have to go to a meetup. Or like, why should I eat healthy when McDonald's is right here? This is the way the human mind and ego works against you. But you know how you beat it? You just tell yourself, you know what? I'm gonna go to the gym for 1 minute. I'm just gonna go down there, I can come back up and go to sleep. I'm just gonna go to the gym for 1 minute. For whatever reason, I'm a firm believer in tricking the ego. So the ego says, oh no, scarcity, voids, shortage, tough, anxious, frustrated. And then you say, no, none of that's true. I'm just gonna go do this, ego. I'm just gonna go down there for a minute. Nobody ever goes to the gym for a minute.
If you want 10 more amazing rules from David Meltzer, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I think if we all take the approach of helping one another, that there's plenty of money to be made in abundance, the same way as in scarcity, but it's just a lot more fun for everyone, and it really helps everyone.